Hello dear students. So last class we have discussed about different branches of physics, nothing but mechanics, under mechanics statics, dynamics, then under dynamics kinematics and kinetics. So now I am going to discuss a few more important terms in case of mechanics. So already we know that. So mechanics, it is a branch of physics. It deals with the study of bodies at rest or in motion. So here, first of all, try to understand these two words. What about motion of an object, and what is when we are going to say object is at rest. When there is a change in position of an object, you just imagine yourself. So this is an object. So this one is another object. Now this object is at rest. Now this object is moving. So with respect to this object, there is a change in position of this object. So there is a change in position of this object. Now this object is said to be under motion. That means the change in position of an object with respect to another object as passage of time, as time goes on increasing, with respect to change in position with respect to another object, if there is a change in position of an object, then that object is said to be under motion. Motion of an object. Change in position of an object with respect to another object. Or with respect to passage of time, so we can say that object is under motion. That means there should be a change in position. So here, change in position of an object with respect to another object means, here these two objects are under two different frames of reference. So first case, object is moving, that is in moving frame of reference. In second case, object is at rest, that is stationary frame of reference. Similarly, if both the objects are under a same frame of reference, here frame of reference is nothing but, through this we can notice the change in position of the object. So here, when there is no change in position of an object, rest, no change in the position of an object with respect to another object. So that is said to be rest. Object is at rest. So when we are going to say, so whenever there is a change in position of the object, say here, now I am observing this object. Now I am at rest, but this object is moving. There is a change in position of the object. So this one is in a moving frame of reference. I am in stationary frame of reference. If suppose there is no change in position of this object, this object is under stationary frame of reference and I am also in a stationary frame of reference. Here there is no change in position of the object, then object is said to be under rest. If suppose I am moving with a 30 meter per second velocity, this object is also moving with a 30 meter per second velocity. When I am going to observe this object, again that object appears at rest because both are in same frame of reference. So in this condition, object is said to be under rest. So in the first few syllabus, you are going to learn different types of motion. So first one is a translatory motion, second one is rotatory motion, third one is vibrational motion, or we can say oscillatory motion. So in detail, in upcoming chapters, you are going to discuss about these three kinds of motion. Types of motion. First one, translatory motion. Second one, rotatory motion. And third one, oscillatory motion. So oscillatory motion or vibrational motion. So translatory motion means here object is moving in a particular direction, and hence the particles of the object are also moving in the same direction. Then such type of change in position of the system is known as a translatory motion. If an object is moving around another object, and hence the particles of the object is also moving around another object, then that system, the change in position of that system is said to be a rotatory motion. And vibrational motion. Vibrational motion is nothing but to and fro motion. Vibrate ಆಗೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ. So vibrational motion is nothing but to and fro motion ಅಥವಾ ಹಿಂಗೆ. So in detail, in depth, you are going to discuss about these three kinds of motion in upcoming chapters. And regarding this change in position of the object, you have already learned about different types of equations. So whenever there is a change in position of the object, try to understand this. Whenever there is a change in position of the object, for example, this object is at rest. Let us consider this object. Now this object is at rest. After certain instant, when there is an external agency act on this object, obviously there is a change in position of the object. If sufficient amount of external agency is going to act on this object. So here velocity of this object is equal to 0. That means the object is at rest. There is no any external agency, or there is no sufficient amount of external agency on this object. Because why I am using this term? Because in some situation, even though that object is under the effect of force, there is no change in position of the object. That means now I am going to try to pull this bolt. Does it possible? No. Even though this bolt or this wall under the effect of force, but there is no change in position of the wall or this bolt, because this applied force is not sufficient. So regarding this, so we come across different types of equations to calculate initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration and time. When there is a change in velocity after certain instant, when this object is under the effect of external agency, after certain instant there is a change in position of the object. We don't know velocity of the object. So let us say here 0, here 1 meter per second, because SI unit of velocity is meter per second. After let us say 1 second, t is equal to 1 second. Then calculate acceleration of the object. So in your examination, sometimes they are going to frame the questions like this regarding motion of an object. Then there is a need to use equation of motion. So we know that 3 basic equations of motion. V is equal to u plus at, equations of motion. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So there are derivations for these equations. So while discussing in those respective chapters, you are going to learn how to derive these equations. So here V is nothing but velocity. Usually here V represents final velocity, U represents initial velocity, A acceleration, because whenever there is a change in velocity, that object is said to be under accelerated motion. Then t is nothing but time taken by the object to reach a particular point. Now in this case, when an object moves from a rest, after 1 second the velocity of the object is 1 meter per second. and calculate acceleration of the object. Then among these three formula, here given data is in terms of initial velocity, that is u is nothing but initial velocity, final velocity after 1 second 1 meter per second, t 1 second. They are asking to calculate acceleration. That means among these three equations, which one is suitable? First one, because we know that final velocity, we know that initial velocity, we know that time taken by the object. By rearranging the terms in this equation, that is acceleration is equal to r v minus u is equal to at r acceleration is equal to change in velocity divided by time taken. So we know that definition of acceleration, that is rate of change of velocity. Velocity is nothing but rate of change of displacement. Displacement is nothing but shortest path between 2 points. So here a numerator, this numerator represented in terms of meter per second. It may be a initial velocity, it may be a final velocity, that is represented in terms of meter per second. T in terms of second. So here this is equal to meter per second divided by second. When the second goes to numerator, becomes second to the power minus 1. Therefore, this is equal to meter per second square, that is SI unit of acceleration. So like this, by using this formula, we can calculate acceleration of the object. If given data is in terms of acceleration, time taken by the object, initial velocity, then we can calculate final velocity. That means this equation contains 1, 2, 3, 4 quantities. Among 4 quantities, 3 quantities are known quantities and 1 quantity is unknown quantity. So here unknown quantity is acceleration. So they are going to frame the questions like this. Similarly, in this equation, one more term is there, that is S. S is nothing but displacement or distance. See here, basically displacement and distance both are different. Last class I have already told about this. Distance is nothing but actual path between two objects. Displacement is nothing but shortest path. So here distance between object A and object B. Now I am going to reach this object B in this way or in this way or in this way, but shortest path means that takes place only in the particular direction. This is not the shortest path, this is not the shortest path, this is not the shortest path. That shortest path takes place in a particular direction. See here, simply by observing we can say length of this path is less than this path and also this path. Therefore, this is the shortest path that takes place in a particular direction, and hence this is known as a displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity distance is a scalar quantity. In any other way we can reach this object. There is no particular direction while traveling A to B, from A to B, along this path, along this path, along this path. When we are going to travel, we should maintain a particular direction. So that is said to be displacement of an object. So here again this equation contains 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 2 is nothing but a constant term. So among 4 quantities, 3 quantities are given quantities and 1 quantity is unknown quantity. By substituting 3 given quantities, we can easily calculate that 4th unknown quantity. If given data is in terms of V, U, A, then we can calculate S. If given data is in terms of S, A, U, then we can calculate V by rearranging the terms as like as this equation. Next, this equation contains a displacement, initial velocity, time and acceleration. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again we can calculate one unknown quantity when given data is in terms of 3 quantities. So like this you are going to use these equations of motion in your chapters. So here this object is moving in one particular direction. So particular direction means here this object is under one dimensional motion. So basically distance, displacement are different. When the object is under one dimensional motion, andre ಒಂದೇ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, so let us consider the position of the object ಅಂತಂದರೆ, you just imagine yourself, ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. It is quite difficult to follow the path of that particle. Therefore, to overcome this difficulty, we are going to follow 3 coordinate system. That is, change in position of the object along x direction, change in position of the object along y direction, and change in position of the object along z direction. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಈ 3 ಪಾತ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So let us consider the 3 coordinate system. X direction, y direction, z direction. So this object is moving in a particular direction. Let us say this object is moving along this x direction. After 1 second, this object is at this point. After 2 seconds, this object is at this point. After 3 seconds, object is at this point. That means this object is moving in a particular direction. Such a type of motion is known as one-dimensional motion. If suppose object is moving in a plane, when an object moving in a plane, ನೋಡಿ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ನಾವು 3 ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, x, y, z ಅಂತ. If suppose object is moving here, so this is nothing but xy plane. If object is moving at this plane, that means in the plane of yz. If object is moving here, that means this is nothing but xz plane. When an object moving in a plane, then we are going to consider 2 coordinates, x coordinate as well as y coordinate. Such type of motion is known as two-dimensional motion. See here, in one-dimensional motion, you just imagine yourself between these 2 points. So this is A, this one is B. Imagine ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲಿಂದ ಬಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ದಾರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದೇ ದಾರಿದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. There is no alternate way to reach B from A. There is no alternate way, only one way is there to reach particle B from A. During this instant, we can say distance is equal to displacement. So distance is equal to displacement, that is only in case of one-dimensional motion. If suppose object is moving by changing these 3 coordinates, x coordinate, y coordinate as well as z coordinate, then that is known as 3-dimensional motion. So you will discuss these all things in detail in upcoming chapters. It is a brief idea. So what are the contents in the chapters? And next, so we are going to discuss about force, because already I told to you here, to change position of this object there is a need of external agency. Now what is the meaning of this external agency? So that is the point here. So that external agency is nothing but force. So in general, first I would like to say, don't think the definition of the terms in a scientific way first. First try to understand in your own way. First try to understand that term in your own way, then try to put that term in terms of your own words. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಡೈಲಿ ಲೈಫ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ. If suppose when I am going to ask this question, what is force? Then students will answer, sir, force is nothing but m into a. Then what about m? Then what about a? That means basically we should understand the basic concept of the term. I am not only discussing about the force in any cases. First try to understand the basic concepts. If a basement is perfect, we can build the building in a perfect manner. So here in general we can say force is nothing but it is just a push or pull. Anybody can understand this definition. So it is just push or pull. Force ಅಂದರೆ ಎಳೆಯೋದು ಅಥವಾ ತಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅನುಭವ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು. ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದೀಸ್ 2 cases there is a change in position of the object if applied force is sufficient to change the position of the object. ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಈ ವಾಲ್ನ ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇನ್ನೂ 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಈ ವಾಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಹಾಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಈ ವಾಲ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಭಾಳ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜಿಬಲ್, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾ ಈ ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸ್ನ ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ, ಈ ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸ್ನ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇದು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಂಬ್ತಾರ? ಯಾರೂ ನಂಬಲ್ಲ. Because as compared to applied force, the quantity ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜಿಬಲ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಡಿಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈಡ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, so there is a change in position of the object. So here force is nothing but just push or pull. So force is not only change the position of an object, it also change the configuration of the object. Now what does it mean, configuration of the object? Now I am going to take this duster. You just observe the shape of this duster. So this is the original configuration. This original configuration is nothing but real appearance of this object. Now I am going to apply force on this object. Now I am going to apply force on this object like this. See here, there is a change in shape of this object. That means there is a change in configuration of the object. Change in the shape is nothing but change in configuration of the object. So that means force is required to change the position, and also force is required to change the configuration of the object. So depending upon the situation, we are going to apply the external agency on the object. So I think you are all familiar about these terms. Just I am repeating. So in Newton's laws of motion, you will come across this term. If I am going to hold this object like this, now this object is at rest. Here there is no any change in position of this object because there is no any external agency acting on this object. When I am going to apply external force on this object, when I am going to apply external force on this object, then there is a change in position of the object. If there is no external agency, then this object is at rest. So this is nothing but Newton's first law of motion. So according to Newton's first law of motion, a body is at rest or in motion. A body is at rest or in motion unless and until it will not acted upon by an external agency. If there is no external agency, this object remains at rest. In the presence of sufficient amount of external agency, there may be change in position of this object, or there may be change in configuration of this object. That means Newton's first law of motion that gives the definition for inertia. So inertia ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಡತ್ವ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೈಬೇಕಾದಾಗ, ಏನು ಕಲ್ಲು ಕುಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಕುಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ರೀಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನರ್ಷಿಯಾ. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಸರ್, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲೇ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್ನು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೇನು? ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಲೈಫ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾನೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. So a body is at rest, it remains at rest. A body is in motion, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರೂ ತಡಿದೇ ಹೋದರೆ ಆ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಹಾಗೆ. How can it possible, sir? Just imagine yourself. Now I am going to consider a sphere. Now sphere is at rest. Imagine ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ ಇದೆ. ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೋಲಿ. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದು. if that sphere is at rest, it remains at rest because there is no external agency. Whenever there is an external agency, then there is a change in position of the sphere. You just imagine yourself, now I am going to manufacture a road along a straight line path from our college to infinity. Practically it is not possible, you just imagine yourself. We are constructed such a type of road from this point to infinity. During this instant, we have, that means while constructing the path from our college to infinity, that path doesn't have any humps or any turns. That means almost all that surface is with a negligible frictional force. Then I am going to exert some force on the sphere. At first, the velocity of the sphere increases 0, 1 meter per second, 2 meter per second, 3 meter per second, next 3 meter per second, 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 up to infinity. It will move up to infinity. And also, after a certain instant, there is no change in velocity of the sphere. That sphere is under uniform motion. During this instant, if there is no external agency, that object remains in the motion. So this is nothing but concept of inertia. A body is at rest or in motion unless and until it will not move by itself without applying an external force. So that is nothing but inertia. So we are going to discuss about different types of inertia in Newton's laws of motion. Inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So here, Newton's first law of motion is known as law of inertia because it tells about condition of the object, whether that object is at rest or in motion. And hence Newton's first law of motion is known as law of inertia. And in second law of motion, definition is not needed now because while taking the chapter I am going to write these all things. And Newton's second law of motion. So this is nothing but Newton's first law of motion. So according to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to applied force. I have already given the concept of momentum in my last class. So here momentum is nothing but quantity of motion contained in a body. If suppose this object is moving in a particular direction, let us say mass of this object is equal to 1 kg. Mass of this object is equal to 1 kg. At first this object is at rest. After 1 second, velocity of this object is 1 meter per second. After 2 seconds, velocity of the object is 2 meter per second. Next 3 meter per second, 4 meter per second, 5 meter per second. After every second, so there is a change in velocity of the object. The quantity of motion means that depends upon quantity of matter contained in a body and its velocity. Therefore, while writing the momentum, we are going to write momentum is nothing but product of mass into velocity. The quantity of motion that are represented in terms of product of mass and velocity. That is, P is equal to because momentum it is represented in terms of P, m into v. Here P is nothing but momentum. M is nothing but mass. V is nothing but velocity. So here quantity of motion that has a direction. After 1 second, there is no change in quantity of the object. That means mass remains same. Mass is 1 kg. But after 1 second, velocity is 1 meter per second. 1 into 1, 1. After 2 seconds, m into v, 1 into 2, 2. After 3 seconds, 1 into 3 is equal to 3. So here quantity of motion is 1, here quantity of motion is 2, here quantity of motion is 3. So this is nothing but momentum. The momentum of an object that is in the direction of velocity. Already we have discussed about the vector and scalar quantities. Here m is nothing but scalar quantity. V is vector quantity. Therefore, if there is a change in direction, then there is a change in direction of this momentum. That depends upon velocity. Because m is constant term. Because mass of the object remains same. Therefore, here momentum is also vector quantity. So, while representing the vector quantities, we are going to write the arrow mark at the top of the alphabet like this. This represents this quantity is a vector quantity. And hence this equation is known as vector form. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಇಕ್ವೇಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಇಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್, ದ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್, ನೋಡಿ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಪಾತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ರೆಸ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು, ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ 1 kg. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಈಸ್ 1 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ 1 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, 2 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, 3 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, 4 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಸು ಮತ್ತು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, 1 into 1. 2 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ 1 into 2, 3 into 1, 4 into 1. ಟೈಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನು ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ 1 ಇದೆ, 2 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ 2 ಇದೆ, 3 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ 3 ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ m represented in terms of kg and velocity represented in terms of meter per second. Kg meter per second is nothing but SI unit of momentum. After 1 second, 1 kg meter per second, 2 kg meter per second, 3 kg meter per second, 4 kg meter per second. This rate of change of linear momentum, that is directly proportional to applied force. So P is nothing but momentum, dP is nothing but change in momentum, T is nothing but time, dt change in time, the rate of change of momentum. Meaning of this term, a rate of change of linear momentum directly proportional to applied force. So that is nothing but Newton's second law of motion. So in this case, finally we are going to get F is equal to m into a. I will explain this one in detail while taking the chapter. So here this force is nothing but product of mass and acceleration. Here we will get one more definition for force. Basically we know that just it is a push or pull. Now we can say force is the product of mass and acceleration. So here SI unit of mass is kg. SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Kg meter per second square, it is also known as Newton. That means we are going to measure force in terms of Newton. So ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So here again this equation contains 3 quantities. Among these 3 quantities, 2 quantities are known quantities and 1 quantity is unknown quantity. If given data is in terms of mass acceleration, we can calculate force. If given data is in terms of force and mass, we can calculate acceleration. That means here F by m, F by m, SI unit of F by m is nothing but meter per second square, because F by m is nothing but acceleration. SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ವೇನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವೇನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಮಾಸ್ನ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬರೀಬೋದು, ಹಿಯರ್ ಎಫ್ ಬೈ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್, ದಿಸ್ ಎಫ್ ಬೈ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಮಾಸ್. ಸೊ SI ಯೂನಿಟ್ kg. ನೋಡಿ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲ್ಸ್ನ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಫೋರ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಮಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನಂದರೆ ಮಾಸ್ನ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಸಿಚುವೇಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬಹಳ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ಸ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್. So according to Newton's third law of motion, so it is a well familiar statement. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಾ ಈ ವಾಲ್ ಕಡೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಒಂದು ಬಾಲ್ನ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವೆನ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕೊಲಿಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಲ್, ದಟ್ ಬಾಲ್ ರಿಬೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಅರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ನಾ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ನಾನು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ಗೆ ಕೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗೋ ಥರ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ವಾಲು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಬಾಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದೆ, ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ? ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಬಟ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ಸ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್. So like this we are going to discuss about different concepts in mechanics, and in laws of motion, especially in this chapter, we are going to discuss one more external agency which comes into play when there is a change in position of the object. ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾ ಈ ಕೇಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ದ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ 2 Newton. ನೌ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೈ 1 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೆಷ್ಟು? 2 Newton. ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಇವಾಗ 1 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. Does it possible to change the position of object? No. It is not possible to change the position of the object because this applied force is not sufficient to change the position of the object. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ 1 Newton ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಆದರೂ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ 1 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಈ 1 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು 1 Newton ಫೋರ್ಸು ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ದ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ 2 ಸರ್ಫೇಸಸ್, ದಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. Static frictional force, that means, so here we are going to discuss about that frictional force. Frictional force is nothing but opposing force when the object is at rest. Kinetic frictional force, that means the frictional force comes into play between 2 objects when object is moving with respect to another object. Rolling frictional force, that means when an object is rolling over the surface of another object, the frictional force comes into play between those 2 surfaces is known as rolling frictional force. So like this we are going to discuss these all things in case of Newton's laws of motion. And in next class I am going to discuss, if possible, I am going to discuss a few more important concepts, so that connects first PUC physics syllabus. So until you just recall these all things, if possible, try to solve the numericals on these 3 equations of motion and this one. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity and F is equal to m into a. So you can solve different types of numericals. Okay, so remaining things we shall discuss in our next class.